Welcome to this video on last night's main event, Eubank versus Conor Benn. An incredible fight. If you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It's probably one of the best fights I have ever seen and one of the best fights in UK boxing history. I want to get straight into it really. Obviously, before the fight, the first thing to get into is that Chris Eubank Sr. wasn't around any press conferences, wasn't going to be there for the fight, even came out on interviews saying he wouldn't be there. Then a video comes out, or a live camera comes out of Eubank Jr. coming out of a lift, and Cena's there with his son, supporting his son, in there for the walkout, looking to get in there into the corner, helping give advice in the corner, at least partially. An incredible moment to see, and really build the hype for the fight. You know, everyone was up for it once they saw Senior in the lift going, look, this is on now. And look, that was the perfect thing to get this really over the line, to make it the best fight in the UK boxing in recent memory, at least, and up there with the best of the best fights we've seen in the UK. I think, look, the key point is, getting straight into the fight really, is Benn did well early. He did well. Round 1, I gave it to him. Round 2, round 3, I gave it to him. He did really well. He was using them big shots, doing big damage. Round 3, Benn caught Eubank with a big shot, and his two legs gave a bit, sort of a bit wobbly. So great movement as well from Benn, going under things, getting moving fast in this early period of the fight. Great work. I gave him all 3 of the first rounds to Benn. Eubank then starts getting straight back into it then. So good combo round 4. Good left hook by Benn. So Benn's still in there, but Eubank, great uppercut. Benn's legs are still there, but was an incredible uppercut to keep standing from and to keep going, seemingly unhurt. And I give the next 3 rounds to Eubank. 4, 5, 6. Trading, but Eubank pushing, really. Trying to push as much as he can in there. Round 7, Eubank again. Great uppercut as Benn came in. So a great uppercut, like round 4. Good, and not probably as devastating, but Benn was moving in, which probably gave it more damaging effect. But then big left by Eubank hurts Benn. Seems like Eubank is coming into it now. Round 7, Eubank, I give him. So it's a round up at round 7. Then again, what makes it an incredible fight? These two fighters are going back and forth. Benn, round 8. Benn is coming. I give round 8 to Benn. It's a good combo by Benn. Eubank coming forward now. Good left hook by Eubank. Eubank is hurt. Benn, great shots near the end. So yeah, I give it to Benn. More damage, and that's sort of what I score. And I think that's key to understand. I'm scoring damage. It is the key thing. I think that's the most important for me. If I was judging, damage is the key one. Round 9, great power shots by Benn. How is Eubank still up? Great shots, combos coming off. Eubank, good pressure. Right eye, not good for Eubank, so has some sort of cut. But Benn wins round 9 for me. So Benn 2 rounds up. And then round 10, very even fight. And they're both now swinging. They're both just in there, in the pocket, swinging, looking who catches who. And I'm thinking at this point that someone's going to go down. Someone's going to go down and not get back up, because they're both tired as well. But yeah, round 10, I give it to Benn as well. Eubank's coming forward and things. So look, that could have been, he unloads a lot late, Eubank. So could have been, round 10 could have been a Eubank round maybe. Round 11, both very tired. I give it a Eubank round. Good combos, good uppercut by Eubank. That uppercut's been money all night for Eubank. And then round 12, both swinging in the pocket. Eubank probably comes out the better of the 2 in round 12 in that. Benn's against the ropes getting hit, and Benn right at the end really catches Eubank. So look, Eubank wins the last 2 rounds. Benn wins 9-10, and I give it a draw. Overall, there are some questionable rounds that I put down. round, there's a couple rounds in there where I think you could go either way. You could have Ben 1 up on round 5. You could have Eubank up, maybe round 10. So look, it could be a point either way, I think. But when we get to the judges, 16-12, unanimous decision for Eubank, 8-4, and I've just put here 4 rounds for Ben when I had him 3 rounds up from 3 rounds at that point, and he stunned Eubank in at least a couple of rounds, very hard. It just shows, I think, the scoring of a jab rather than power shots. And there's definitely rounds in there where you'd give it to Ben more over than Eubank. And okay, Eubank maybe throwing more, maybe touching him on the gloves more. But the key point is whose legs wobbled, who got hurt, and that's the key. I think that's a bit harsh. It's quite wide. Either could have won it. That is the key point. Either could have won it, but that judge's decision, 8-4, incredibly one-sided for all 3 judges as well. And it's not just one judge going massively out there. It's all 3. And look, Eubank did well in a couple of end of rounds, but we've got to look at damage. Who's hurt, and I think Ben did a lot of damage well early on. And in some of the rounds, Eubank was doing stuff, but then when Ben hits him and his legs start wobbling, that's the most valuable shot of the fight. If you're just hitting someone on the gloves, it doesn't matter as much. But look, Eubank wins. I think either could have won. Eubank, backwards senior, incredible. And if this fight has really got them back together, in the sense of working together and being a family, incredible. That family's been through a lot, and they should, that is a key important bit. They should be together. They know, and senior knows, junior knows how hard it is to get in the ring and how much support you need to get in there and do your best. And I think that's partially why this fight was so good. Ben, clearly disappointed after the fight, but does his stock diminish from this? I think it goes up. I think he's an incredible fighter. He's clearly at world level now. Nearly knocked out a guy 2 weight class in a weight 2 weight class above where he normally fights at. And Eubank's been there, and he's fought at least some very good fighters in his career. And look, Conor Benn took him all the way. No matter the judges' scorecard of 16-12, he took him all the way, definitely. Post-fight interview, Eubank, I don't think, stayed around for very long. Conor, did definitely do one. Eubank went to hospital quite quickly, I think probably around a jaw injury sustained by Conor Benn. And partially, that's another point for me, is that, giving him 4 rounds and he's done that to someone and they've went straight to the hospital and he's still in a press conference. Come on. There's a bit more damage in some of them rounds than what the judges are saying, I think. When you're scoring a jab hitting gloves, it depends how you judge it. But let's score damage, and that's the key one. Ben saying he's disappointed, clearly upset from a loss, and especially a loss like this where there's so much family in there. It's basically Ben Eubank 3 is what it's been touted as, but end of the day, I think people around him have got to be honest and go, your stock is only improved, firstly. Secondly, you went 2 weight classes up from where you normally fight at, and guess what? This is sort of shown to Turkey, to the big guys in charge, you've got it enough to win a world title someday. There's a potential there, and I think that's the key. And you have the ability to sell out crowds. And how many fans have you got now? I'm a fan of Conor Benn now. I didn't really mind beforehand, but I am. Now I want him to win. I want him to get somewhere in the sport. Because I think he deserves it. I think coming into here, there's a lot of money involved, but, a tough fight. And Eubank Jr., tough fight. You know, a lot of pressure on both of them. But for Conor Benn to be earlier, at least in his career, and quite early in his career as well, I think it's really good from him to come out and against that backdrop of Tottenham Stadium to be able to perform like that is quite incredible. So real props to Conor Benn. Great fight from Eubank Jr. Hope he gets treatment and he's all good to get back in the ring as soon as possible. I do think it shows, though, for Eubank, at least at this point in his career, he shouldn't be getting in there with Canelo. He shouldn't be getting there with a Shiraz. He should not be getting in there with these guys looking for world titles or have been at the world title level. You know, like a Canelo who's just been constantly sat there as one of the best in the world. I think he needs to go, look, Conor Benn wants a rematch. Is that the best idea for me? And I think it could be. I think it really could be for Eubank. Conor Benn has more options out there. You know, Eubank has options. He can make money either way. You know, he'll get a Canelo fight if he wants it, I think. But I think he's got to be understanding that, look, you're likely going to lose it. And that this fight has definitely showed me that, look, I'm not betting on anything but Canelo in that fight. And, you know, I was most of the way there before, but for sure, I don't think they should be in the same ring at this point. Ben got options, can go back down if Eubank doesn't want the rematch, and I think he could do very well. I think he'd do incredibly well, so I think great. Both stocks have really went up. I think Eubank might have slightly went down a bit, you know, where he's looking at Canelo fights, looking at Shiraz as a fight. I think he needs to leave that now. I think he needs to go for big money. Hey, look, there's a big money rematch on the line. Everyone's going to want to watch that rematch. Get your money, Eubank, and get the rematch done, because I think that's his best option at the minute. Let me know, guys, what you thought of the fight in the comments down below. An incredible fight. Best UK fight in years, and one of the best of all time. So an incredible fight. Great to see the fighters do incredibly well. You know, so much back and forth between them, and very good fighters in general, and glad they earned what they earned, because they really did bring it across the press conferences and across the fight. They put everything into this fight, so well done to them. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.